Hey everybody! Welcome back. Northernlion's cursed Isaac runs. Biologically mostly sorted out. Excuse me, Elsa. I'm doing an audit. Speed fails the audit. Rate of fire? Acceptable. Damage fails the audit. But it's not horrible. We have Loki's horns. 2.6 damage. 2.6 damage looks worse than it is, to be honest with you. Because our rate of fire is like mildly acceptable, we can roll with it. And oh my god, 27.88 damage. Is this a new world where I can actually hit enemies at range without finding myself extraordinarily likely to be destroyed by them up close and personally? I do want to point out, on the last run, your boy had the opportunity to take a range upgrade. By the way, can we pour one out? We just had the first Loki's horns kill in Earth's history. I didn't think it was plausible. It's finally happened and taken place. What do you got for me? You got the virus? Viri? I got more than enough for you right here. I'm in that weird state where, like, I thought I was over the sickness, and then for, like, the last 2 hours, I've just been sitting here in my computer chair being like, why does everything hurt again? These are 2 pills. Normally, I say I sound worse than I am. Today, it's quite the opposite. I am worse than I sound. And it's starting to, it's like a 5-alarm chili. It's like a 4-alarm illness. I hope I'm on alarm 4. Or even 5 of 4. That would make me feel a little bit better. Give me a key. Because you know, a key or HP. Let me put it that way. Because you know that that's a library down there. We can see it on the map. I would accept 2 bombs. That would also work just fine. That's why I'm talking kind of like low and a little stunted so far, because before the episode, you know, coughing and sputtering a little bit, watching Nardwar videos on YouTube, a local Vancouver treasure. We're going to try to recover, though. Both, hey, be careful, buddy. Both from, sure, that's fine. Our last run, you know what? I'm willing to take a stab at it. Take us to 5 cents so we have an arcade chance on the next floor. I think it could pay for itself. And so far it has. Dude, didn't even dawn on me that we picked up the mind. I was just like, oh, we got the world card. We do not have the world card. We have a reusable world card. We don't have a cracked red eye orb. We got the real red eye orb. That's the good stuff. Last run sucked. I'll just call it like I see it. Did we make some mistakes that could have led to us losing that run? Probably. But also kind of not really. And you know me, by the way. I hope so, at least at this point. You idiot. I'll take responsibility for my own failures, for the most part. Again, we could have taken a range upgrade instead of taking some spirit hearts. That may well have made a catastrophic difference, but in a good way this time, instead of a terrible way. Unfortunate. You never get anything for killing these guys, so this is really not worth it. I'm gonna try this. I know we could trade a bomb for a key. I don't really want to trade a bomb for a key on that other room. I'd rather trade a bomb for a chest and hope there's like a bomb and a key. And if possible, even a bang-the-bang dickie. That could be better. No guarantees, but it could be better. I'm willing to give you a little shot here. I'm willing to go for broke, actually. Like, there's a lot of situations, like, I'm thinking, for now, try this. Okay. I like it. Check this out. No, it didn't work. I thought, you know, you can just barely, that's not really worth it. You can just barely play a Demon Judgment twice. So in my head, I was like, well, surely you should be able to play a Demon Judgment twice, but with a very, very, very quick IV bag charge in front of it. Maybe you still can, but I'm hesitant. Let's put it that way. Finger bone. It looks brittle. So I love booger tears. I really do. Shears is incredible, but also a little scary. I don't know what the finger bone does. We should look it up. Okay, stop running into enemies. This is getting a little bit out of hand. I'm not even gonna do the prequel meme. That's how out of hand it's getting. Hold up. Finger bone Isaac. Finger Bone. Grants a chance to gain a bone heart upon taking damage. Yo. Assuming that it doesn't break when we get the bone heart, we could use this with IV Bag to generate like a bunch of bone hearts, but simultaneously, you know, Dim Bulb, well, we don't have Dim Bulb, so disregard. Don't do me like this. I'm telling you, dude. It's highly rude. I'm gonna go back. We're gonna try to get a little bit of action. I want a bomb first. Let me ride this. So we had 3.18 damage, not horrendous. We can't get a bomb there. We got 3 more rooms. Here's my methodology, okay? Why do we need a bomb? So we can access second secret room, potentially. Get some value out of that. I'll see what's going on in here. Get the battery charge, not that relevant. Can't get that unless we can fly, which would actually be fine. Suicide King. I don't know, man. I'm feeling a little spotty on this run. I feel disconnected from Isaac reality. I'm connected to real reality. Like, ask me who starred in the 2003 film She's the Man. I could tell you. It's very simple. It's the one that's not Michelle Trachtenberg, but is kind of like Michelle Trachtenberg, aka Amanda Bynes. I remember. Right, my Isaac foo feels very bad right now. Don't worry about boss rush. Forget the demon heart. Let's go for this. I don't regret it yet. We may in the future. Let's go peep whatever's going on in here. So I'm going to give you the chance to dazzle me. I find myself undazzled, but not too perturbed. 6 cents. We can now go to our shop. Pardon me. The bomb also could have let us get the IV bag to double up on our opportunities to take damage there, which, well, I mean, we could get the IV bag without having to do that, but we would take damage from walking on the spikes in the process, which would be pretty bad. I really want Finger Bone to hook us up here, is I guess what I'm trying to get at. Where's my bone heart? I hate when you look at something and it says, has a chance to do blah. Don't give me that a chance nonsense. Give me the number. I'm an adult. I want to make well-reasoned and informed decisions. Yeah, there's a chance that me, as a 29-year-old guy, could make the NHL. What's the chance? About 1 in 100 million. It's like Lloyd Christmas, you know? What are the chances that a girl like you could, you know, see yourself with a guy like me? About 1 in a million. So you're saying there's a chance. We're pretty unlikely to ever use Suicide King. I mean, that's not a good return on the investment. But I don't value Suicide King as a card anyway. I value it as a... It's a harbinger of destruction, so to see it gone and purified for a purpose is totally fine by me. I say, pardon me. I say, but in my head I'm like, of course I'm gonna take it. Why wouldn't I? You think I'm a coward or something? Oh, this is bad. In my defense, I did say this is bad right before it hit the fan. Dude, now we're talking. We got the magic number for damage. We got a good rate of fire. And hey, if you're on a 0 streak, why not take it down to a -1? Try to pick up a better run to start with. Build morale. You're ill. Baby, you're worth it. Okay, I gotta stop walking into enemies. That's like my #1 pet peeve with my own play, and I'm the only one who can control it. I'm throwing my life away, walking into enemies for no reason. I do feel like we've been dealt a relatively bad hand on these last 2 runs. I'm not gonna say like long term we've been dealing with bad luck, but the last 2 runs in particular, I feel like we haven't really had the opportunity to pop off. It's all about that first deal with the devil. When the first deal with the devil comes out and it hits you with some trash, you're like, wasn't meant to be, I guess. We'll work through it, you know? Sometimes these train wreck runs are where the real magic comes out. The one thing I don't like about this run, we got a weird haircut situation going on here. Now, I understand. I'm one to judge. I got a weird haircut myself. Certainly not worth it. Is it worth a key? Probably, but maybe just barely. Sorry, I almost teared up there. I just remembered that I was bald. No, I got this throat infection, dude. I gotta tell you. My wife has come down with the illness that I had. Well, I don't know if it's the illness that I had, but it better be. That doesn't really make any sense. But she's come down with something. Might have to go to the doctor. I swear to God. If she gives me... Or if she gets, I mean to say, antibiotics from the doctor on her first visit, this YouTube channel is about to take a stark turn. There's gonna be a lot of, like, political stuff coming up here for why 29-year-old men have it harder than anybody else on planet Earth. That's all I'm trying to say. I wanted the juice. I was not given the juice by the doctor. So there's a simple A/B test about to happen. And it's really gonna rattle my chains. What I'm saying is I don't want my wife to get medicine. No, I'm actually quite the opposite. I don't know about you. This doesn't make me a selfless person, by the way. What I'm about to say... Oh, that's the good stuff. I heard actual mucus in there, and that's disgusting, but simultaneously amazing. Oh my god, I've excised the demon from my pharynx. I feel so much better now. It happened so fast. That's beautiful. If I go into the doctor's office, like I've been to the hospital with my wife many, many times. For a while, you know, she had gastroenterological issues, a lot of abdominal pain. Took us a long time to diagnose it, okay? So we were in the hospital a lot. When I'm in the hospital, if the doctor's like, I think you're faking it, go home. I'm like, yeah, you got me, sir. It's like when I went to the doctor, when they were like, I think you just got a cold and you're being a baby. Just go sleep it off. I was like, you know better than I do, sir. You got a big piece of paper on your wall. And if I go in there with my wife, we did the same thing when we were in the ER so many times. If they're like, you know, we think you probably just sleep off the pain. I'm like, you listen here. This is about to be a John Q situation. Now, I've never seen the movie because it's under 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I consider myself a man of taste. However, if I remember correctly, in John Q, Denzel Washington's son has a heart ailment, but the hospital's being all like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. And he takes everyone in the hospital hostage in order to get his son his heart transplant because love transcends all boundaries. We're about to have a John Q situation if we go to the doctor and we get a go home and sleep it off situation. First off, my wife and I are very important people. We're broadcasters on the Twitch.tv platform. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if that changes your opinion of how you're going to tackle this case, doctor. That is your real profession. Ooh, we can escape. Secondly, there is no second. Basically, we're streamers, give us the medicine. That's all I want to say. By the way, if you're going in, you know, comments and you're going, why do you need antibiotics for a cold? A cold is a viral infection. I'm going off the wisdom of giants, okay? On the shoulders of giants. My mom went to the doctor. She had the same symptoms. The doctor said, here's antibiotics. Now, you can backseat all you want. I know everybody on the internet, myself included, thinks they're smarter than everybody else on the internet. That's the spirit of being on the internet, is believing that you're the smartest person in the room. You know what they always say is, like, if you know, you're the smartest person in the room, you should find yourself a different room. I very much disagree with that. If you're the smartest person in the room, I think you should invite as many people into the room as possible. Not so you can meet someone smarter, but that so many people can be exposed to the fact that you're the smartest person in the room. You know, it's very good for your ego. As much as you may backseat, and we've already been here and we liked it, but you have to admit, nobody has the audacity to backseat an actual doctor of medicine, right? He said, hoping that this would be the case, but knowing it probably won't be. Like, this is a human doctor of medicine. Someone we attest and put our hope into to heal us in times of great physical ailment. If this were the 17th century, they'd be walking around with one of those weirdo bird beaks, you know? Caw, 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 trying to get the plague out of everybody's system, but it's not. With the advent of modern medicine, you gotta trust them. I trust them more than I trust Twitch chat. No offense meant, Twitch chat. I'm just saying, when I have a doctor, I don't pop into Austin's chat and I go, I'm sick, what's wrong with me? Because people will try to figure it out. They'll try to diagnose you, but they don't know what they're talking about, even though they mean well. I don't care about car battery. Not with ventricle razor. This run, by the way, so much better than our last one. Let me hydrate here for a second. We're good to go. Again, I don't mean to talk about my relatively mundane illness over and over and over. It's just been going on longer than the average sickness I've had. I've had a couple like this in my entire life before, but you know, it's like a once every 5 years sort of thing to get this sick. Hasn't happened in so long, I've forgotten how long it's been. Forgot when the last one was. But we're probably almost through it, hopefully. Okay, here's where things get interesting. We'll take Void just because we can. And then we'll take Abaddon. Do we want to take Void... Pardon me. Do we want to take Void with us? Here's my hypothesis. Why not? Okay. So ventricular razor would have been screwed either way, I guess. But why not? Because of the fact that at least we get the effect out of it regardless, you know? With car battery, I'm pretty sure we've already killed ventricular razor. I'm pretty sure it has no conceivable benefit that it can give us as is. Because every time we use it, it's going to pop down 2 portals. That's pretty good. But yeah, compared to our last run, this run is substantially better. I don't even... Dude, straight up, I don't think I like Greed's Gullet. Suck it up. Give me the juice instead. Yeah, it's useless. I don't need HP. I'm happier to have the 9 damage this early on. I think that's for the best. I'm just trying to, like, I'm playing a little bit more cautiously. Greed's Gullet is a rare item. I don't know if it's part of the rare item pool, but it's an item we don't see all that often. So I like to use it because it means that I get the opportunity to learn a little bit more about it. And it's definitely one of those items that has actually gotten me killed in some situations by not understanding how it works and accidentally, like, if not spending myself to death, at least spending myself into danger. Something that has never happened in real life, but in video games, more likely. I'm trying, I don't know if anybody else, I think a lot of people actually are like this. I've lived, I think it's a very, like, our generation thing. I've lived a pretty frugal life, apart from, you know, some things. Like, I do live in an expensive city, there's no question about that. But, for the most part, I spend, like, almost no money on myself, except for living expenses. And I'm not talking about, like, oh, well, I need a Versace belt to keep up appearances. That's just a living expense. I'm talking about, like, there have been times where, like, we've ordered delivery for dinner, and I've looked at the price of what my order was gonna be, and been like, nah, I'll order it for you, Kate. That doesn't bother me. But for me, I'm just gonna get a sandwich. I'll make a sandwich at home instead of ordering this, like, you know, $16 dish or something like that. And she acts like it's depriving me of something. Not the case. Your boy loves sandwiches. Now, I'm not saying I would like a toasted ham and cheese sandwich. What on earth is happening here? I think we should just bounce. Okay, never mind. What? Alright, weird. So every time we press the spacebar, we are going to get 2 Dead Sea Scrolls actions. Didn't think that one through. Anyway, what I was gonna say is, I'm not saying I would like some, you know, a ham and cheese sandwich as much as, like, a, sushi combo A or something like that. You know, a couple spicy tuna rolls and a little spinach gomai. I'm just saying it's close enough that I'm willing to make that sacrifice for myself. But I'm trying to, like, get over it a little bit without compromising myself. I'm realizing, you know, I've literally... And I'm thankful for the opportunity to have done so, by the way, but I gotta find some more balance in my life. I work a little bit too much. Probably afford to stop and smell the roses a little bit. The course of my 20s is very, very easy to chart. 20 years old, year 2008, third year university. 21, fourth year university. 22, lived in Korea. Taught English. From 22 to 29, sitting at this chair, streaming, playing The Binding of Isaac, more or less. Now, there's trips thrown in there, no question about it. Recreation. Met my wife, moved to a different city. Is that a chaos card? It should be, because we just dropped it. You know, plenty of stuff, like big milestones, but I gotta stop and smell the roses a little bit more, so I'm trying to get used to spending more money. You know what I did yesterday? I bought a bottle of Coke Zero when I was at the grocery store. You know why? I was at the grocery store and I was like, my throat's a little scratchy. Go into the cooler. That's what they're there for. Grab a bottle of Coke Zero. This is not a sponsored video. I'm not saying Coke Zero is good for you. I'm not endorsing its consumption. Merely suggesting, you know, is what I desired in that moment. And I bought it and I said to myself, I don't know, that's $3.50 coming off the bottom line. And then I said, stop. You gotta improve your quality of life a little bit. You gotta stop and smell the roses. After getting that bottle of Coke, we walked outside. Kate said, do you want something from Starbucks? Inside of my brain was like, nah. I already have this bottle of Coke. And I said, you know what? If they have a nitro cold brew, the draft poured coffee that you can only get in some locations, I'll get one. They did. I got one. This might not sound like it's huge progress to other people, but some of you, I'm going to be honest, probably get it. Like, I've talked probably ad nauseum. There's an ex-friend of mine. It's not that there was anything that... I'm just being honest when I refer to it as an ex-friend, okay? I don't buy this friends for life stuff. We didn't have a falling out. We just haven't talked to each other in, like, 15 years. So, are we friends? I don't know. You would think if we were friends, we probably would have gotten in touch with one another. We have, like, a friend debt. We used to be friends at one point. I would say we're in a friend coma right now. Because it's not like anything happened that makes me think, like, I hate that guy. It's more like, we just got it on pause. He moved away after university. I stayed in our hometown to go to our school here, which was better than that school at the time. But then, through a lot of town gown relation mishaps, has now sunk a lot further in the McLean's ratings. But either way, hey, the point is, Oilthine na Bannergan K.A. Anyway, that's the fight song of my alma mater. It was put a little chutzpah on it for those of you who may or may not be Golden Gales. Don't see too many of them out here in British Columbia. Anyway, we're in a friend coma, but he's still like, I'm fine with him. We spent a lot of time hanging out when we were younger. He chronicles every single expense that he makes in his entire life down to... And I mean, everybody should chronicle every expense they make, but he chronicles it publicly. And then he'll, like, apologize and offer a mea culpa because he's like, I bought a $3 cinnamon bun, but, I only did it because I felt like my blood sugar was getting low and I was worried that I was going to be cranky and the opportunity cost associated with being cranky at work was worth less than $3.50, so blah, blah, blah. That's, like, me to the extreme. But I could relax a little bit. I could afford to take a step back. It's hard, though. Even with the addition of YouTube Premium. Wow, that was the worst placement for that bomb. That was a joke, by the way. We don't need consumables. We don't need anything. This run is actually, like, it's popping. It's popping because of Sack Dagger, but also 9.49 damage. We could use a rate of fire increase. I think everybody's got, like, something in their life they could afford to slow the roll on a little bit, right? For some people, it's like heroin. You should slow your roll on heroin a little bit. It's like, hey, James, you're always talking about heroin so much. Maybe slow your roll. For some people, it's finances. For some people, it's exercise or eating healthy. There's people, hey, do you want to go out for dinner sometime? Yeah, but I can't go there because everything they serve is based in potatoes. I can't have anything. I understand. I don't want to tell you how to live your life. I'm just saying, I understand that it can be hard to let go of that degree of control. Sort of. Anyway, that's why I had to pee so much in the last video. I think I've consumed like 5 liters of liquid. I'm doing like Jim Carrey's Yes Man, but only exclusively with imbibed beverages. If anyone ever goes, hey, you want a lemonade? I'm like compelled to say yes. I can't say no. I think we should suck it up. I want chaos back, please. What is this though? Two of spades? Yeah.
Of spades.
Okay. I think we should suck it up just so we have a chance to fight Mega Satan, is the general gist of what I got going on there. Just because the run is already at like full Zane capacity. You ever see Yes Man? I've seen it, I didn't like it, but I was at peak cynicism when I saw it. I think Rotten Tomatoes is backing me up, my good friend Rotten Tomatoes. People thought it was silly when a mother and father looked at their shiny red child and said, our son will be named Rotten Tomatoes. But I'll be darned if that dude doesn't know his movies. Plus such granular ratings. 71 out of 100? How does he do it? The joke here is that I think that this website, Rotten Tomatoes, is run by one man by the name of Rotten Tomatoes. Somebody else could do better with that bit than I'm doing right now, but that's okay. Just when I saw Yes Man, I wanted it to be like more subversive. The problem is, you know, like all those Jim Carrey movies, Fun with Dick and Jane, Bruce Almighty, every single one of them, Yes Man is also in the same camp. And by the way, I love Jim Carrey. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Fantastic movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. The Truman Show. Amazing movie. I got a soft spot for Dumb and Dumber. The Mask. I watched his Andy Kaufman Man on the Moon documentary. I watched Man on the Moon, but I also watched the making of Man on the Moon. Both of them were excellent. So no love lost for Jim Carrey, but all those movies from that era. Liar, Liar also in there, although that's a little bit better. I think we suck it up. Just for maximum weirdness. They're all the same. It's like, Jim Carrey has something supernatural to happen. He's in a TV show. He can't tell a lie. He has to say yes to everything. He has a mask that imbues him with the spirit of Loki, the Norse god of mischief. You know, that one's a little bit more out of left field. I always thought, you know, they play it too safe. They play it too PG. What if Yes Man, you know, he plays a bank manager and it's in the midst of a financial crisis, so one of the pivotal moments of Yes Man, people come in and they're like, hey, I want a loan so I can, like, you know, shove it up my butt. And he goes, yes, because apparently he's never heard of, like, there's an exception to every rule, you know? Which in and of itself is a rule, but we don't need to go down that road. I really thought it'd be wild if Jim Carrey just through an increasingly, you know, escalating series of yeses ended up being part of like a criminal syndicate. Like if he ended up getting indoctrinated into the Chinese triad or something like that. Or if he just said yes so much, you know, he ended up becoming part of the Church of Scientology. You know, I would love to see a version of Yes Man that's subversive where things actually go wrong. Because instead, the moral of the story, and it's very positive, is that we shouldn't close ourselves off to new experiences. But as interesting of a moral as that could have been, dude, if they'd really gone for broke in that movie, pardon me, they could have accomplished some amazing things. But they're cowards. Every single last one of them in Hollywood are cowards. They wouldn't greenlight my Yes Man script where he sells his kidney on the black market for 4 Dogecoins. Not a single spine in the whole town. Same thing, like with Liar Liar. I want to see like a really awkward, like 45-minute long scene where his wife is just asking him about like all the little white lies he told in his relationship. I want to make it clear these are not based on my personal life. Please don't extrapolate them. So she'll be like, when you took down the recycling and the garbage, and you told me you were gonna sort it, you just threw all the recycling into the trash compactor to save yourself 30 seconds, didn't you? And he's gotta go, you know, his face is contorting and he's going, yes, that's a movie. That's human beings interacting. None of this Jim Carrey stops a plane on the tarmac. You make that movie in 2018, that dude's on the no-fly list. Not quite a heartwarming tale. at that point. It's more of a story of like, hey kids, let's go to Cancun. Don't worry, Dad'll have a little staycation. While he's here, he can think about all the terrible things he's done with his life. The other thing I don't like about Liar Liar, which I think is actually a very funny movie, for people of a certain age at least, you know, if you're 6 or 60, that's a movie you can get down with. Liar Liar is fine. And I'm not even being sarcastic. Liar Liar is okay. But what I don't like, and this happens in every Jim Carrey movie, except for Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where he is definitely the preferable suitor. But either way, every other movie is like, Jim Carrey's a real jerk to his son. And it shows him like, well, like, instead of going to his son's birthday party, he has intercourse with one of his co-workers. Now, I understand, if you're, you know, like 17 years old, you're like, well, Dad's got a plow, baby. Nah, it's not like that. You have a child, you know, that's supposed to supersede all of these other, or at least, you know, you got to put your kid ahead of you, especially on, like, their birthday, okay? I'm not saying you can't make some time for that, and it's between two consenting adults, but, like, at the same time, to miss your kid's birthday for it is a real crappy move, obviously. You know, if you don't see that now, if you're like, that kid's being selfish, you don't understand. You're still a child yourself, which is fine. But I'm just saying, you can understand why Jim Carrey's ex-wife and the mother of his child was very upset with him in Liar Liar, and if you can't, well, maybe, you know, you missed out on the nuance and subtext of that film. But then, by the end of the movie, which takes place like a week later, Jim Carrey's like, I've changed. But there's always like one unspoken villain, and that's the new stepfather of the kid. The stepfather in Liar Liar is like a nice guy. You know what he doesn't do? He doesn't do the claw. Okay, oh, we hate him because he doesn't do the claw. But he's like a good dude, just trying to have an honest relationship with Maura Tierney. That's right, I know the name of the actress that played Jim Carrey's ex-wife in Liar Liar. You got a freaking problem with it? Take it out with my good friend, R. Tomatoes. They always treat that guy like he's chopped liver. Like he's somehow less valid in his son's life because of the fact that he's not genetically related to him. Even though he's been, you know, twice the father that Jim Carrey ever was over the course of the film up until the last 6 days. Pour one out for that guy. That guy doesn't get enough respect in Hollywood, man. There's got to be like a movie. In fact, there's probably, you know what's a good one? Ant-Man. No spoilers. This is the first Ant-Man here. In Ant-Man, Paul Rudd, I mean, is Marvel, you know, they don't get too complex with the characters, but Paul Rudd, you know, he's got a daughter named Cassie, ex-wife, Judy Greer. You may know her as Spring Break from Arrested Development. He wants to make it work, but he's also a man the size of an ant, so it creates a lot difficult situations. I have to remind myself, as somebody who really likes superhero movies, about once every hour over the course of any Marvel movie, when things get really serious and like the score swells, I'm like, this is about a man who eats a flower that makes him really strong. It's not exactly Lady Bird, but I digress, okay? Doesn't make it any less valid as art just because the story's more fantastical. In my opinion, at least, Mr. R. Tomatoes. But they can't make it work. Instead, Judy Greer ends up getting with Bobby Cannavale. Great Hollywood actor. Used to fantastic effect in the second season of the show Master of None. And overall, a pretty good guy over the course of the movie. But you know what? That's what I like about I like two things about Ant-Man. Pardon me for the cough there. One of them is that it's about a man that turns into, is roughly the size of an ant, and that provides a lot of opportunity for funny action set pieces. The other one is that they don't do the stepdad dirty. Bobby Cannavale's there, San Francisco PD officer. He's doing his darndest to be a father to that girl, okay? The movie doesn't just throw him off and be like, he's a jerk, like so many other James Carrey films have done. Instead, they treat him like a real human being with the respect he deserves. Anyway, I digress. I didn't expect to end this episode crying over Ant-Man, but nobody gives Bobby Cannavale enough respect, okay? And also, are you aware of the fact that the man in the movie has a suit that allows him to become the size of an ant as a result of a little-known scientific positron known as the Pym particle? Is a heartwarming tale. Couple of thrills and chills for the kiddos, but, you know, anybody over the age of 9 can respect it. And as an adult, you just gotta recognize half the fun is that this is a man who can also get very small. Just imagine the kind of hijinks he could find himself getting into. This summer, big thrills come in small packages. Have I gotten my point? Okay, yeah, probably. I have no idea where this run is going. I long for a more traditional series of runs. This one is going out of control. Like, we have enough speed, we have enough range. Let's suck it up. Maybe it costs us spun, who cares? Battery charge, please? Did we already buy one? We might have already bought one. Pardon me. I know you think, like, NL's going hysterical. It's not, like, you know, it is hot in my room, and I maybe have, like, a mild fever, but I'm cogent and I'm cognizant right now. I'm just playing it up for dramatic effect. That, you know, as much as I like pretty much every Marvel movie that's come out since, like, the year 2015, and most of the ones that came out before then, but there's, you know, some spotty ones, obviously, Thor: The Dark World. At the end of the day, if you're ever trying to convince somebody who's not on board, it's gonna be tough, because all they have to do is be like, so we're talking about the movie where the man is made out of iron. And you gotta be like, yeah. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, so he's got the suit, you know, it's the Iron Man suit. And he's, like, really smart, so he made this suit for himself that essentially substitutes for his superpowers. But also, as the trilogy goes on, he gets more and more vulnerable. He gets, like, PTSD, and, you know, he has to cope with the fact that he feels responsible for Earth as its guardian, while simultaneously, perhaps his newfound power level, having kickstarted the Avengers in the cinematic universe in the first place, is what's led to Earth being a target for these extraterrestrial beings that are coming down. Okay, but, like, he's a man, and he's, like, flying around in a big old metal suit. How do you reconcile that as an adult? It's fun. That's what I guess it comes down to. The movie I had the hardest time with. You know, let's start the other way. You know what Marvel movie I have the easiest time with? Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok is the least serious Marvel movie of all time. That's why it's one of the best. It's just funny. And never, you know, throughout the entire movie, do you find yourself being like, wait a minute, this dude's gonna shoot lightning out of his hands? Because it doesn't matter. Because the universe, you know, it makes sense that he's doing it. Because anything could happen. It's a zany comic book thrill ride. You know what movie I had the hardest time with, even though it's very, very good, is Logan. Because Logan, at many points, gets, like, extremely... Well, it tries to get emotional. I think it largely succeeds. The movie's very good, in my opinion. It's directed by James Mangold. Better recognize. But sometimes, you know, they're trying to give you, like, a tear-wrenching, heart-jerking moment. Might have gotten those backwards. And I'm just sitting back in my chair and I'm going, this dude's got claws that come out of his hands. What's up with that? Sometimes I just find myself unable to suspend the disbelief. Alright, Mega Save. Yeah, let's do it. So this run is very strange. I don't really know... You know, I mean, ever since we picked up Void, especially with car battery, we've just kind of been like adrift. Certainly has not been bad. And Virgo is actually a huge help for us, thankfully, which is what is giving us the invincibility right now. Thank you so much. But, yeah, a weird one. Again, I long for, like, a more traditional run, if possible, at some point in the future. It doesn't even have to be the near future, just the future. It's just, you know, you get the opportunity. You can go to the multiplex and you can watch First Reformed, a movie where Ethan Hawke, as a Catholic minister, reconciles with the damage that, you know, he and his generation have done to the environment and the complicated interpersonal interactions that happen as a result of this situation. Considered one of 2018's best films. Or you can go watch a movie where a man who is also a spider teams up with a man made of iron, the captain of all of America, a strange doctor. You know, it's an easy choice for me. What I have decided is that I am the world's greatest sucker. You know who the biggest suckers on planet Earth are? Anybody who pays for pay-per-view in the modern era. In the era of Netflix, I'm sorry to tell you, by the way, it's coming from a sucker. From one sucker to another. Here's how you keep your money. Do not pay for pay-per-view movies in the era of Netflix. Many of you probably know this. If you've lived this life and you're ready for a hard-fought lesson, I got one for you. We bought I, Tonya on pay-per-view when I was at my parents' house. That was 2 weeks ago. Going to bed last night looking for something to watch on Netflix. Hey, based on your viewing history, we think you'd like I, Tonya. You don't know how right you are, Mr. Netflix, brother of Rotten Tomatoes. Based on my viewing history, I did like I, Tonya. I just didn't like the fact that now I could watch it basically for free or a fraction of $13 a month proportional to the viewing time spent on your service over the past 30 days when I spent $8 for it 2 weeks ago. And by I mean my parents. But, you know, let's be honest, I'm an only child. It's kind of my money anyway. I'm not saying I can't wait for it. I'm just saying, what else are they going to do? Give it to their cats? I encourage them to spend it as much as possible. Go fly first class. Live the glamorous life like Fergie said in her song. I'm not waiting for it. I'm doing okay for myself. But I'm just saying, that was my $8 on I, Tonya as well. I share an equal stake. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time.